Welcome, everyone, to today's Explainer. We are jumping right in, and I am absolutely thrilled because today we're stepping into a literal time machine. Picture this. It's the early hours of April 21st, 1526. We're standing on the vast open plains of Panipat in modern-day Haryana, India. There's this thick, volumetric morning fog rolling over the ground, totally hiding the sheer epic scale of what's about to happen. Through that mist, thousands of men and beasts are breathing heavy. You can hear armor clinking in the twilight. It is the dawn of an empire, a truly cinematic moment where history just holds its breath right before everything changes forever. So, it brings us to a massive historical question. Can a small army actually defeat a massive entrenched empire? It's your classic David versus Goliath scenario, but played out on a world-altering scale. On one side, you have Babur, this really ambitious ruler from Kabul, with a relatively modest force. And on the other, Sultan Ibrahim Lodi of Delhi, who commands an absolute juggernaut of an army. On paper, it seems completely impossible. But, well, history loves to defy the odds. Let's see exactly how this incredible clash unfolded. Section 1. The historic field of Panipat. As dawn breaks over Haryana, that thick fog I mentioned just blankets the vast field, creating this eerie, claustrophobic tension. And as the sun finally starts to cut through the mist, two vast armies face off in a dead standoff. Every single soldier standing out on that field, from the absolute lowest infantrymen to the kings themselves, knew deep down that this very day was going to be permanently etched into history. Okay, let's dive into this matchup, because we're looking at two fundamentally different military philosophies staring each other down. On one side, Babur's troops from Kabul. Sure, they're smaller in number, but they are packing something revolutionary: advanced gunpowder technology and artillery. On the flip side, Sultan Ibrahim Lodi's forces from Delhi. This is a massive, traditional army relying on overwhelming numbers, brute force, and the sheer shock and awe of ancient warfare. It's literally the future clashing head-on with the past. Section 2. Babur's Cannons and Strategy. Standing before his outnumbered men, Babur delivers this incredibly defining message. He tells them, today our victory will not just be of this battle, but of our future. Maintain discipline and fight with courage. What a deeply motivating perspective, right? He wasn't just telling them to swing their swords. He was anchoring their minds to the massive, long-term stakes of the day. He was instilling this rock-solid discipline that would be absolutely vital to holding their nerve against the terrifying horde waiting for them in the fog. And you have to notice the sheer mechanical brilliance of Babur's defensive setup here. He builds a strong, continuous line of bullet carts, literally lashing them together to create an artificial fortress right out there on the open plains. Then he positions his cannons securely between these carts, giving his artillery a safe, protected firing line. Behind all this, his soldiers hold perfectly disciplined defensive positions. He effectively built an impenetrable, gunpowder-armed wall that forced the enemy to play his game. Section 3. Lodi's Massive Army. Now, shifting over to the other side, Ibrahim Lodi had absolute, unwavering confidence in his sheer numbers. His army was vast, stretching out all across the plains, wildly outnumbering Babur's men. And at the very heart of his strategy was the traditional, terrifying might of armored war elephants. Imagine the ground literally shaking as the war drums start to beat, and these massive, armored beasts step forward. For centuries, this was the ultimate weapon of war in India, and Lodi was completely sure it would crush this upstart from Kabul. Section 4. Roar of Cannons and Battle. In an instant, that eerie silence is shattered. Babur's cannons fire, and the deafening roar physically shakes the battlefield. Keep in mind, this is a sound many of Lodi's forces had never even heard before. The massive plumes of smoke and the concussive explosions absolutely panic Lodi's prized war elephants. Terrified, the beasts turn around and frantically stampede, trampling right through their very own lines. Crushed by what was supposed to be their greatest asset, Lodi's formations completely collapse into chaos. The battlefield instantly turns into a visceral, dust-filled nightmare. This wasn't just a distant artillery barrage. It quickly devolved into fierce, close-quarters combat. You have the blazing cannons continuing to fire through the thick smoke, mixing with the metallic ring of clashing swords. You have soldiers thrusting spears, and the sky turning dark with flying bows and arrows. It was a brutal, swirling mix of modern gunpowder technology and ancient hand-to-hand combat, with both sides fighting with unimaginable bravery. So, the crucial takeaway here is that technology alone did not win the first battle of Panipat. It was the cannons combined with strict, unwavering troop discipline. While Lodi's massive army descended into disorganized chaos, Babur's men actually held their nerve. They maintained their formations, executing this disciplined step-by-step advance that slowly and systematically dismantled the much larger enemy force. The strategy was working perfectly.
Section 5, Lodi's End and Victory.
Despite a really long, hard-fought struggle on the plains, the turning point finally becomes absolute. Sultan Ibrahim Lodi, fighting amidst the chaos of his collapsing formations, falls in combat, and the death of the Sultan is the ultimate breaking point. Without their leader, Lodi's once massive, incredibly confident army loses all remaining hope. The ranks break completely, and the survivors flee, retreating wildly into the choking dust of the battlefield.
And then a profound shift happens. The roaring cannons stop. The clashing of swords fades away. The thick dust and smoke finally begin to clear, leaving this heavy, almost peaceful silence over the fields of Panipat. Standing victorious in the warm sunrise light of the clearing mist is Babur. Against all odds, he has just won one of the most monumental military victories in human history.
Section 6, Delhi Sultanate to Mughal Rule. And this brilliantly illustrates why this battle matters so much today. To truly grasp the sheer scale of that morning, we have to look at what changed. This wasn't just a border skirmish. On one hand, you have the absolute, definitive fall of the Delhi Sultanate, a power that had ruled for centuries. And on the other, the foundational rise of the Mughal Empire in India. In just a few hours of combat, the entire political and cultural trajectory of North India was completely rewritten.
The immediate aftermath was swift and highly decisive. Babur wastes no time. He moves quickly to capture the absolute heart of the empire, Delhi. From there, he successfully seizes Agra. With these two massive seats of power firmly under his control, the dawn of the Mughal era officially begins, cementing a legacy and setting the stage for an empire that would shape the Indian subcontinent for centuries to come. I want to leave you with this final, powerful thought. History is changed not just by the size of an army, but by strategy, discipline, and leadership. Babur proved that sheer numbers and traditional might can be completely undone by true innovation and a disciplined mind. So the next time you find yourself facing what looks like an impossible giant obstacle, ask yourself, are you just counting the odds, or are you looking for the strategic advantage that can change everything? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I hope this deep dive into history has sparked a whole new curiosity for you. See you next time.